is not the issue, but humor me for a sec. What do you think this lane matchup looks like? Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yeah, I can. I can.
So what is it? What does this lane matchup look like to you? Like, how do you quote unquote win lane, or what is your goal to get out of this lane?
Honestly, like this looks like a pretty even lane. I just have to keep on hitting them like with my Q, and if I can poke them down enough, like it shouldn't be too hard, honestly. I
And
don't know.
do you want to take trades?
Um, nah, because they have sustain, right? So like we can't really take like too much trades. But I feel like if we can poke them down without like taking too much damage in return, then it's not a big deal.
Exactly. Do you have any other options besides poke?
Um,
So trading's not an option. Poke is a very good option.
I feel
Anything
like our
else?
all-in's better. Like with Brand, if Brand can hit a stun, then like that's pretty much over.
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm thinking, right? You can have all in potential if Brand lands his shit first. You can
Yeah.
poke, which is the safe option, and then make sure you don't trade, right? Because they're gonna sustain.
For sure, yeah.
Interesting with the Doran's start.
Yeah,
But
man, I go
haven't
ham.
played- I haven't played Ezreal in a while, so
I don't know. I really like the 88 AD. It's nice.
for sure, right? Especially since you're like taking sorcery and like, I noticed you didn't take Scorch though, which is interesting. You took Transcendence instead.
Yeah, I like the cooldown reduction.
Okay. I mean, if you're like winning lane, you're like no problem. Then I mean that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't need Scorch to win lane, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not a scrub. What the heck?
Right. Assert your dominance.
Hell yeah.
So interesting stuff going on right now. You're gonna lose the level 2 push, probably,
Yeah.
at this point, right? That's okay, honestly.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
One thing to note for poking, harassing, all that kind of pressure, right? So these are all forms of pressure, right? Whenever Brand throws his abilities at them, right? When do you want to use your abilities? Is there a specific window that makes it, better?
Well, when they're not behind minions.
Yep, that's true. And what else? There's like a really important one in lane that a lot of people struggle with a lot.
So you don't take minion aggro?
Well, when they want something, that's your opportunity to hit them when they want to get it.
Yeah,
right?
like when they go for CS or whatever.
Exactly, right? So if you hadn't used it there when you went for that minion there, right? So
Yeah,
it
for
looked
sure.
like sometimes you were doing it, right? But from the get-go, every time you miss a Q, like the instant I saw you miss one Q, you lost level 2, right?
Oh, yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
for
way you
sure.
could get it. So
Yeah.
that can be important, right? Same with this Brand Q, right? It doesn't really make any sense. He randomly hit Sona, which is nice, but
Yeah.
you have to make sure that there is a risk associated every time you use it, right? So this is sick. I don't know how that's hitting, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was good. This brand's decent.
But yeah, that's like one thing to keep in mind, because you said you were like, oh, I want to live, so I play super safe in team fights, but I feel like I can't do anything. Ezreal is very safe, right?
Yeah.
But by being safe, he's also super useful if you land your Qs. That's the big thing, though. If you can land your Qs. So yeah, right there is perfect, right? Jin walked up, he wanted to get a minion, you shot him in the face, right? That's exactly what we want every time. And if it doesn't hit them, you need it to hit a minion, right?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
why
For
is
the
that?
cooldown.
Yeah, for the cooldown, right? And so that you can push or make sure they don't create a huge wave onto your face, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of awkward. You guys are trading a little bit. But I think it can be okay. Yeah, you just have to potion up. That's true that Ezreal can just find random potions, and he has Biscuit too, right? So you can start Dorans. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
it's
sense.
fine. Like
That
the
makes sense.
sustain's there. Even
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Brand, it's like I can sort of match them, honestly.
That makes sense. One thing to know, obviously, is you know this, but if Sona ever pokes you, it's like not important unless she hits the auto attack, right? So,
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. She's always
Yeah,
gonna
like
get
right
shit.
there, I can
Like,
understand
that's
on
good,
range.
right?
Yeah.
That is definitely the best case scenario. She wastes her mana. He took like 50 damage, whatever. So yeah, so far pretty even. You guys are on the path to what you want, right? Wow, where's this Jin? Yeah, so like
Oh,
cues
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, it needs to, you need to save it or you need to make sure it hits, right?
Yeah. Here they roam mid. Should I have like I hard push the wave? Should I have followed, or is it fine to just stay? Because I felt like it was too
Since
late.
Varus is already dead, so so this is like a good question, right? So it's like, oh, if they roam, what do I do?
Yeah.
If it's a committed fight, you need to go, right? If it's a committed
Yeah.
fight and you can help, right? You're like, if you're 50 HP and they turn around and kill you, that's not gonna help. If you guys are a sustain lane and they're all in and they're hiding in this bush and you face check and you die, it's not gonna help, right? You can't go help, right?
Yeah.
But if in this case, in this scenario, right, when you are able to help and a committed fight is going on and you're right behind them, it's a really good idea to go, right?
Okay.
In this case, we would say it's not a good idea. Why is that?
The fight's already over.
Yeah,
Versus
exactly.
is
The
dead.
versus is already dead. There's no way to make this 3v4 happen. You push, right? This is perfect, right? And then
And
you
then he
make
wants
sure
to
that
cheat.
this should happen. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a kill, right? Oh,
Yeah, she
okay.
flashed.
This is at least a flash, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely made the right choice here, right? See, ask yourself, what can you get if you go, right? That's the kind of question you need to ask yourself. Like, how do you use your time efficiently? Do you use it better by pushing and getting more CS and pressuring them in lane, or is there something better to get by going to help your team, right?
For sure. Okay.
But usually you want to always check to see if you can help, right? Because CS is very good, but if a fight breaks out, that's your like chance to change the game in a positive way, right? That's your chance to like carry the game. Anytime a fight breaks out and you can help, that's your chance, right? If you can't help, nothing you can do. But definitely keep that in mind, right?
Okay. Cool.
Is your first priority is to look to see if you can help. If it's impossible, then do the best you can, right? Which is push or stay or set up a camp, which is what Brand did, right? I have no idea how he's hitting these Qs. This Sona is getting hit by everything, but
Yeah, it's getting pretty lucky, honestly. But hey, I'll take it.
oh my god, he almost hit him too. That was gonna be a kill.
Yeah,
That
for
was
sure. I
almost,
would have
you
eaten
guys
kid.
flashing this shit, yeah.
Flash.
All right,
I think Jin starts DCing in lane, which is kind of unlucky.
So, what are your options here? Once you push this minion in.
Well, I could back and get my tier, but I don't know. I feel like I can just stay in lane, honestly, because like Sona's low and she's gonna stay. So
Right, that's true. Are there any other options?
not really that I can see.
So have you heard the concept of lane priority?
Kinda, but like
So lane priority is when you will have control over the lane, right? So
Yeah.
what we mean by that is usually it's you can push first and go do something first, right? You have the
Yeah.
initiative on them. So one thing you can do if you okay, so you push him in here, which is good. But then if you say, oh, I can't find any way to poke them down because Brand just uses abilities, you can go into the river, right, and clear all wards they had, or you can find Scuttle Crab and see if the jungler's doing it, or you can take the what's it called, the plant, the honey plant for Brand or you or whatever to
Right.
deny them or to just heal yourself up or get mana, right? You can do any of those or all of those if you have enough time, right? So if you say I can't find, if you say I want to try and poke, that's okay for sure, right? But just make sure, I'm just making sure you know your options, right? So you said
Yeah.
you knew you could back, and it's obviously you knew you could poke. Just make sure that roaming is also an option, right? Roam quickly and come back to lane is something you can do, right? It's all about using your time efficiently. So yeah,
all right.
that's
Cool.
interesting. I did not notice, but where did you use your ward?
I don't even remember. I think it might have been in the either lane bush or river.
Oh, down
I don't
here?
know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was like, oh, if you had a ward up, that could have been your time to
Yeah.
get river vision, for example.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
And try and protect your Varus that way or something. Too bad this poke is just getting instantly healed up. This Zone is super annoying, but your win condition isn't win lane, right? You just need to get your tier, mana immune, mirror mana, whatever, 2 items, and then you just like kill everyone. So this is a-okay, right? You guys, you basically having perfect farm is really good, actually. It's really good that you backed off there too, right? Because they were gonna hit you, and you did not want to trade. Nice poke,
Yeah.
nice poke. So yeah, it looks like this is just gonna be a farm fest for the most part. Any
Oh
questions,
yeah,
by
a
the
little
way?
backstory. Fiora and I switched in champion select, so she's autofilled.
Ah,
basically.
I see. Oh wow, what the fuck? You random kill. Okay, so one thing I noticed here was what happened here in this section.
Yeah, he just runs up and kills them basically.
No, like when you got hit by Sona.
She hit her auto attack.
Yeah. Right. So you definitely
Yeah.
want to avoid that, right? But then Brand randomly found something, right? So this is the all-in potential we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, he's
and-
confirmed dead.
That was a perfect follow-up for you, right? So that was really good, right? So turns out decision to stay pretty good. You guys had the advantage in HP. Sona had to spam healing, whatever. Jin made a mistake, and it was all over. Now I think you guys are gonna want to push and base, right?
Yeah, I think we base.
Obvious choice. Um, maybe throw a ward down. You don't need to though. Oh, they have Zen. That's pretty annoying. Nice. This is a free. This is free now. You have your
Yeah.
items.
Yeah, we're good.
One thing to note with this season, is that you always want to spam. Okay, yeah, you always want to spam your abilities for your tier. You need to get that ASAP, and mana's not an issue with mana flow banned, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to basically Q on cooldown. Even if you can't hit them, you hit a minion because your Q cooldown is super low
For
after
sure,
all the
yeah.
buffs and stuff. So yeah, so like
I
that's
found-
fine. That's fine. Just make sure you use your Q on cooldown basically,
found
unless
that
like
I
a
can-
fight is happening.
I can
Sorry,
get
what?
tier fully stacked at like 15 minutes sometimes. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's insane. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, now you have your ultimate. Okay, so does this lane change at level 6?
Our all-in potential, in my opinion, is stronger. If Sona doesn't hit her ult, it's like over for us because
Right,
Brand's
right.
ult is gonna hit guaranteed, and then I can just ult afterwards.
Exactly. Your is like basically the stuff you wanted to do, which is poke and all in, did not change, right? The nature of the lane did not change.
Yeah.
And then your all in is just like that much stronger, and then their trade is that much stronger because Jin's gonna ult you guys when they hard trade with you guys. So one thing you want to look out for is Sona's ult does not necessarily have to be used for all in, right?
Yeah.
So if she just like ults Brand and then Q autos, and then you're already half health, Jin ults, someone's gonna die.
For sure,
So that's always something to keep in mind is that they can turn their all in quote unquote ultimate into a poking ultimate, right? Oh my god, what is he doing? Wait, he's fucking dead. All right,
Yeah.
good follow up. Good stuff.
This Brand's crazy, dude.
Dude, you just fucking DC. That's unfortunate. Wait, this is free. Oh no. So you guys end up losing this game, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what happens. Because there's definitely stuff you can do from here.
Yeah,
on out, for sure.
100%. Yeah, that's why I decided to do this game because I felt
That's
like
good.
I didn't know what to do that I could have won this game, but
That's
I
good,
knew
that's
that there was something. If I was like a challenger player, for example,
Right,
won
this is
this
like
game.
very clean, right? Sure, you got hit a few times, took like 1 or 2 trades you shouldn't have, but all the follow-ups were exactly as you should have, and you didn't waste any summoners. You were playing safe. You were making sure everything's Gucci. This is good. This guy's just super sad. He died from DC, right?
Yeah.
So again, the question is there anything else you can get besides tower damage? I'm not saying this is the bad option, but
Yeah. Well, we could go into their jungle and ward, I guess, but
right, because with the help of a gank, you guys could be in trouble. Well, Brand
Yeah.
could be in trouble specifically, right?
yeah, I got my
Hit
Ian
Brand,
flash,
it's like,
but Brand.
Wait, he went to ward, so this is good. The thing is, the problem with this right here is that this is like a common like I don't want to say mistake, but this is like a suboptimal option, which is you go ward like after the wave has come in. You need a ward like when they can't do anything about it, right?
Mhm.
Like say for example, you guys have no vision on them right now, right? So what happens? Zin is sitting in this bush and Sona's on the way. Brand's
Oh,
dead,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is why we go do stuff like after we push, right? Here we need to push again, unless we can see them, and then you're like, oh, okay, then I can ward, right? You see Zin, you see them, then you're safe, right? But that's the kind of issue. What happens in solo queue, right? You've seen it before. You sit in this tri bush and you say, oh, they're coming to ward. Sit in this bush with me, right? You've seen that
Yeah.
one before. So yeah, that's how you prevent it. You go do stuff after you push, and then once you need to push again, make sure you don't do anything crazy, right? Okay, that was a good
For
flash.
sure, yeah.
You're gonna fuck this guy over. Holy shit. Oh
Nice,
my
that's
god,
right,
that was
yeah.
clean. That was good. Very nice. I didn't even see him. But yeah, that was good. Oh my god, he's gonna die if Brand has flash. Oh, what's going on?
Nah, it's on a stage. She's like really low.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing, but you guys just want the tower, right?
Yeah.
Wow, is that Zin? Yeah, everyone's coming bot.
Yeah, I can't do anything about us though. We're too good.
you guys are carrying this so hard. Yeah, so you want to take this tower for sure, and then that was kind of awkward, but I think that is okay.
Yeah, like maybe I should have kept E in case they were still here, but
Yeah, it's like, did you need to do it? Is the question.
no, I didn't need to. But
Right,
I'm a
right.
greedy player.
Right. It's like maybe in some cases you needed an extra auto attack, but in this case you weren't pressured for time or anything, right? So
Yeah.
it's always better to be more patient, I guess. Okay, good. Now you guys, this is like basically the perfect scenario for Ezreal. Oh, this guy what is he doing?
He doesn't care. He just runs away.
Interesting. Oh wow, you have a lot of options. Okay, straight Trinity. Okay. That's fine too. I would have gotten the gauntlet myself, but it could be a preference thing, right?
Yeah, I just like the attack speed from Trinity.
Okay, okay. I only mention it because they have two lethality users, right? And they have
Oh
a
yeah,
Zin,
that's true.
so that's
Yeah,
like it's like super cancer. So in my opinion, I would have been like, oh, gauntlet and ninja tabis, but you do you, right?
yeah, for sure. Okay.
Coming mid to cover. This is good, right? Okay, so now that top tower is broken, bot tower is broken, what is your idea of what you want to do here, based on what your team has?
I feel like we should just go top and get the last adder.
Right, right, right. That's my thinking, right? Why do you want to? Oh my god, you're gonna get this guy too. Oh, you're gonna at least stop his back.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is your time to do stuff, right? Once you've pushed.
I think I into.
Oh, that's awkward. Oh,
Cause I hit the Q. I thought that it was
the Syndra.
Syndra in the bush, but it was just
Oh, it's over. Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
it,
that's
it was
awkward.
the
All right, so
the chicken.
we
Yeah.
can talk about this. All right, so remember, you need to ask yourself, why do we pick these champions, right? So why do we pick Ezreal?
Cause I don't know, he's safe. He can poke, you know. Does
Right,
damage.
but when is he strong specifically? That's the kind of like
oh,
reason
like
why we
the
pick
time
these.
in the game.
Right, right, right. No, like items and timing, sure. Items and levels is really what we're looking at.
Yeah, I feel like Ezra is pretty strong, like mid to late game.
Right, right. Why mid game?
Well, I don't know. The Trinity Force. I don't have the Mana Mana yet, but like the Trinity Force Mana Mana spike is like pretty big.
It's disgusting, right? You just
Yeah.
fucking you Q someone, they lose a third of their health, and you can E in, right?
Yeah.
So are we at that point yet? Is the question.
Not entirely, no.
Right. So now, so you need to know that you should play somewhat conservative, right? Any kind of play like this you make needs to be like 100, like guaranteed, basically.
Guaranteed, yeah.
Right. And if we look at the map, there's like no chance this works because you don't have a Trundle, you don't have Fiora, you're super strong, but this is like 3v5, so you're not that strong, right? And then you also have no flash, so you have no ulti too. So we have a lot of things that are working against us. So unless you see this guy with one HP, you know he has no flash, and you're going, that's fine. But if we can't see him, it's like not a good idea, right? Because it didn't have to be like Zin could have touched you once and Jin would have W'd you, right? And you had no,
Yeah, that's
you had no
true.
E. And then Sona didn't even have to flash; he
yeah.
just ulted you, right? So there's nothing you guys can do. And then it's like the second part of this is the time efficiency, right? So we need to know what our options are. What are our options here? Once you've pushed, what are our options?
Go top.
Right, right, right. What else? So rotate top. Okay.
Maybe take Rift Herald, perhaps. Go
Right,
back.
control Rift Herald, right? Get vision on Rift Herald. We're missing a pink here, so we can't really control it as well as we'd like to. But that is a really good option, right? Because it's the only objective on the map.
Yeah.
And then what else is there?
I don't know. That's about it that I can see. Bot's
So-
pushed already, so like you can't really go bot.
Right, right, right. Another two could be like, this is a common one where you go into their jungle, right? If you see them clearing this shit, right? Sona's not going to contest you since she's like sitting in mid for some reason, right? So you go in their jungle and then you ward everything up, and then what happens when they come to Rift Herald? You guys like use a Varus ult and then they die.
Yeah, that's true.
And then another one is you can try and siege if you have Varus. But I would probably not recommend this because your Fiora is behind, right? So they can engage super easily. She teleports, it doesn't do anything. So in this case, you're right in your first few options, which is Rift Herald, rotate top, right?
Yeah.
But if you do anything that doesn't include that, like going like this, it has to work. Otherwise, it's a throw, right? Because now your whole team is gonna die, or they're gonna not be able to do anything for however long you're dead, right? So yeah, basically that's like you should ask yourself, what are my options? And then if you see something that's not in your options, right? That's not in your standard set of options, it better be because they're doing something extremely dumb, like Syndra's backing in that bush, and you know for sure you're gonna kill her if you E over, right? And then you're gonna get away, right? So otherwise, now it's like look what your team is doing, right? Brand is struggling to find something to do. Fiora can't go bot. Varus could have been engaged there. Trundle is actually farming, so that's okay. But everyone lost flashes too, right? So it's kind of awkward, in that the game was kind of stalled. So
let's say in that situation, like I was mid, for example, and I just pushed the wave. Let's say like Rift Tower was down and like top tower, like we already took top tower, and there's like no objectives on the map to do. Like what do we do in that situation?
So in that situation, you can deny their jungler, right? So one of the options we talked about was going their jungle, ward everything. If you watch a lot of high-ranking Korean play, like Korean replays, when AD carries is super far ahead, that's what they'll do, right? They're like, oh, we're gonna deny you all these camps and all these buffs. And then what happens is that by the time the next objectives are up, they're already down like a few thousand gold because they got all the jungle camps in the game, right? Versus 0. So that's always another option. There's always something you can be doing, right? What's another option? Like you said, you can poke at the tower. If you're confident, you can dodge Sona ult or they're engaged, whatever their engage is, right? I would not because it's Syndra and that's cancer, but that is an option too, right? You can siege. You can gank a lane, right? Everyone can rotate to top lane, right? Varus can rotate, whatever. If you had a tank, Fiora instead of Fiora, you could rotate to her lane and dive to the split pusher, right? Say it was a Fiora versus Maokai, right? And their Fiora is behind. You could rotate to Maokai's lane after you push in. Okay, this is super awkward. I hope you guys are gonna get away, but you can turn this for sure, right?
I had to E back in, try to get something, because like I feel like Jhin could have just like jumped on me and killed me. Like I think I was 100% dead here.
So when you are going for a turn, you want to turn on the CC, which is right? But when you have skill shot abilities and it's guaranteed to land, you should use it like pretty much immediately. Right? Okay. So what could have turned this fight?
So I could have ulted, I guess.
Right. You could have ulted. Even with the without ulting, this is gonna be a good result, I think. But you definitely should have ulted, right? Yeah, and you would have gotten. I think you would have gotten the Jace at least. 2 for 2 in a 4v2 is amazing, right? Because now what's gonna happen is they're gonna have to base, and then your team's gonna get something like Fiora's getting dragon, or they're gonna face check, and then Trundle's gonna beat them to death because they have no HP, right? But I think this is fine, right? The only problem is that you should have known they were coming, right? Which is I don't know if you knew, but
yeah, I saw him on the map. I just wanted to get tower first.
Yeah. But I think it's okay because you guys got the tower, right? So
and we got one for.
This is using your time wisely, right? You guys got enough out of it, right? You got to kill. You specifically got to kill. AD carry got to kill, and then you got a tower, and then you're getting dragon. So overall, this is good, right? So this is the exact opposite of your earlier play, which is couldn't get anything out of it. And then your team's fighting. This is whatever, right? Your team's getting dragon, so of course you're gonna lose that. Wait, did she fucking die? Not getting the dragon? Oh my god. Alright. That's unlucky. It's only because your Trundle it's just unlucky. Alright. So overall
I can't do anything about that.
It should have been good. Overall, it was like the right idea, I would say. That's not gonna lose you the game. I would say that's pretty good. Okay, so now we're at this point. We have a Trundle and Fiora dead. It looks like mid can hold mid, so you go bot. That's fine. Alright, it's all about using your time wisely, right? So this is okay. Oh, nice dodge. And then, that's awkward. People are DCing.
Jhin and Fiora, it was a fiesta this game.
You should beware of this bush, right? Things that he could do with his time. He could be roaming. He could be basing. He's probably camping a bush or something. Jaces love to do that, right? They just sit in there and they EQ you when you come out.
And then Q,
But make sure you're buying pink words as well, right? That's kind of a big one. Because without a pink word, it limits your options, right? Remember how we're talking about, how do we control Rift Herald? You need a pink word. How do we gain control in their jungle? You need a pink word, right? Otherwise, you're just sitting on top of a ward. How do you deny this word? You pink word the river, right? So having pinks is like super important as well. I would even go as far as to sell biscuits for it at this point in the game. Like you're kind of desperate for space.
Yeah, don't need those
in
biscuits.
your inventory. People are here, whatever. Basically, how do we know we don't want to fight this?
Well, our team's not around. We don't know where their team is, so.
Right. And then what's the win condition for your team? You have a few, kind of.
Our win condition?
Right. Like, how do you win the game?
Maybe, I think right now, we might be able to fight them, actually. Like, we can just, like, all in them, honestly. Like, if we 5v5, and then we could just run it down mid or get some good objectives. But
well, does Fiora ever want to fight 5v5?
Oh, yeah, she wants to split push top, I guess, or bot.
Right. And then how long does it take for her to be strong?
A little while.
How many items? We should be specific so that we know.
Three, right?
Right, I'll say 3. 3 is a very safe bet, right? 2 or 3. 3, 4, 5, you know, the game's going to be over if she's good, right? She's going to kill everyone. And then what does Varus do, right? What is Varus' win condition?
He just needs to poke, right? Like he's building lethality of
Exactly.
Varus.
Exactly. You just Q someone and then Q Sona. Hopefully she heals. He Qs again. She's gonna die, right?
Yeah.
And then what about Ezreal? You get that mirror mana spike, and then they can't do anything, right? You poke and then you go in, right?
Yeah.
Or you can all in from a bush. So out of all these win conditions, none of them are met yet, right? We haven't been able to poke anyone. Fiora still hasn't got the split going, and then even though we're a little strong, we're not mirror mana strong, right? We're not the reason why we pick Ezreal. So if you ever pick a fight here, you're gonna lose, right? 100%. Not only that, you don't have enough people. Oh my god, let's watch this. You actually destroyed this guy with that massive brand bounce. That was really good.
Yeah, dude, Brand's just chunking everyone.
But it could have gone really poorly, right? But that was a good result, honestly. Wow, that was really unexpected. But okay.
I wanted to respect
It
Syndra a little bit because if she just E's that and then Q's again, then ults, I'm pretty sure I'm dead.
Right. The reason why it works is what we talked about earlier, right? Out of your options, in this case, win conditions, if you take something that doesn't include your standard options, it better be free. So you thought the Xin was free. Turns out you were right? I was completely wrong. As long as you are 100% sure, right? You're good to go, right? Taking an option that's out of the ordinary is okay as long as it works, right?
For sure.
Otherwise, it's like, oh shit, this guy's gonna get poked to hell, right? Oh my god, what is he doing? He's gonna get queued if he's not careful. Oh my! I thought you were gonna ultimate, but that's okay too. That was a good try. So close. But now what you can do? What can you do after you poke him out?
We can honestly just run Rift Herald. I feel like that's what we should have done here.
Yeah. You should run Rift Herald, right? In my opinion. Actually, Fury kind of died, so that's kind of awkward. So maybe you can't actually Rift Herald since Jace is gonna come behind and like poke someone, right? So, but at least you can get words down. Yeah, you kind of need pinks though. Right? Not having pinks limits your options severely, right? Because it means their Sona can just run in there, put a word down, and you guys can't clear it, right? How awkward is that?
So if I have like let's say like 200 gold or whatever in my inventory, should I just buy like 3 pinks or like 2 pinks or whatever?
If you are ahead, I would buy 3 pinks. If you are struggling, I would buy 1 pink. Right?
Okay.
But
no matter what. Like
no matter what, you need a pink. Especially when you're struggling. Especially when you're 0 and 10, you can't do anything besides providing vision. So you might as well provide vision, right? So these like how strong wards are. He's just fucking doing this Rift Herald. You have a ward on it. He didn't pink it. You guys just kill him, right? This is a throw for them.
I don't know what he's doing. Honestly, he literally he saw us mid. Like I don't know.
He's crazy. He's like, oh, I can sneak this while they're pushing or something. I don't know what they're doing, right? But
I have no idea what.
Right. Not having a pink. That's exactly what happens. Not having a pink is this some stupid shit like that is gonna happen, right? So in this rank, you know that this shit happens because we just saw it, right? So if you can buy a pink and prevent your team from ever doing that, like I don't know what he's doing. He's just walking through no vision, right? If you can help your team to not die to stupid shit like that, the enemy team is gonna do that shit, right? And then you're gonna win. So
I guess it's just like try to prevent as much like disasters as possible, and like
right.
disasters.
That's how you help your team, right? How do you prevent a throw? And then for you, how do you make sure you use your time efficiently, right? This guy's trying to fight with all his items. You know this Fiora is probably not gonna win.
She's already
right?
dead, yeah.
So that's kind of awkward. Okay,
wait,
you gotta
win. I think he ends here.
He's gonna dive to what the fuck? All right, so she lost that, right? She was dead to Sona anyways, probably. Jace could have just taken the tower, right? So how do we know that? Fiora didn't hit her item spike yet and she tried to fight, right? So we already know the outcome, right? How do we know the outcome of this? We actually don't because there's no vision, but it looked really good. The poke was really good. But right, just like knowing what champions should be doing at any given time tells you who wins the fight beforehand, right? This is kind of awkward because you have no HP, but I think this is maybe doable. You guys just have no vision. I'm just like, they could turn at any point. Oh, nice try. You just gotta stop now, though. I think.
Yeah.
Before someone just gets one shot. Okay.
Oh, like that.
It's continuing. This is fine. Picking up kills. This is good, right? This is good. As long as you're not dying and using your time wisely, right? This is good, right? You might want to stop chasing though, right? You just gotta clear this. Yeah. And then almost. I can't see what that is at, but Jace is here. Everyone's gotta run. Skip. Is there anything you could do besides backing here?
You back into like Gromp or something. Or like
right, but
maybe
it's probably not worth, right?
yeah,
So
I had a ward in my inventory, but I don't think it was worth it to like go into the river and ward that. So
right,
I don't know. I
agreed,
feel like
agreed.
backing was just the best idea.
I agree, right? Back and go mid, versus trying to rotate to mid through Jace, which is not really possible, right? He's super strong. This is fine. I don't know what they're doing. They're just gonna get hit. Oh my god. He had to flash. That's kind of funny. Wait, how come you didn't get any of the mid farm? Oh, I think Varys got it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So if we look at the CS at minutes, right? The reason why you see a lot of high ranked players have like 200 farm at 19 minutes is they're using their time efficiently, right? Every time. That's how it works. Is that if you can use your time efficiently, you're either getting assists, vision, kills, or you're getting CS, right? And if none of those are happening, you're kind of throwing the game because you're the AD carry, right? So
Right.
that's kind of what we have to look out for. In terms of, oh, what should I be doing outside of lane, right? So sure, you guys want to push this in. Zin shows up behind you. You guys need to turn around. Oh, okay. You guys find something, that's fine too. This guy is just on top of your Varus though, right? How do you beat poke? You engage. You just fucking eat onto him. This is gonna be good, I think, right? You just hit this guy. Seems like you're doing really well in team fights. You just hit the closest guy and you win, right?
Yeah, but
Seems
I
pretty
think
good.
that was just like an exceptional case. Like
Oh,
that was
okay,
just a
so don't
weird
walk
team
into
play.
him, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, one thing to note in team fights is everything was really good up until this point, but all it takes is one mistake, right? So, before fights happen, you should press tab and ask yourself, like, how do I get threatened, right? What's a threat to me, right? So, Syndra ult is a threat, for example. Jhin ult, if you're no, Sona ult is a threat, right? Because if you get CC'd, you're gonna die, right? You have to
Yeah.
count these out and then like say it out loud or whatever it takes to remind yourself that that shit is gonna kill you if it hits you.
Right.
Wait, what the hell?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on here.
I think that's a thing. I've seen people do that. But
Wait, is that like a strat? Like when you have like no idea like where to use Rift, like there's no like possibility. Like do you just like put it there and just like hit the things when it's ready?
it's an interesting idea, but I think it has less value since the enemy knows where it is on the map, right?
Right.
But I think it's an interesting idea. You can save the Rift Herald, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
Fucking put in the jungle camp or something. I don't know. That's super funny though.
I've
Don't
never
let it
seen
out
that
yet. It's genius. But yeah, make sure for team fights, right? Like the one that just happened. Make sure that you know what's a threat to you, right? So when I say threat, it's not necessarily engage or not engage, but CC, right? So Malphite ult is obviously a threat, right? What about Fiora? Is Fiora a threat?
For their team or
No, for like a 80 carry.
oh,
in general.
kinda. Like she can't CC me, but like she's gonna dive me. Actually,
Let's say at what point is she a threat is the better question, right?
well, like I guess after 3 items.
Right, exactly. When she's strong. How about Vayne? At what point is Vayne a threat? Is she a threat at level
probably
1?
honestly after she gets IE.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you need to know when these champions are dangerous, so you know when to when it's okay to go in or not, right? So this guy did not know Varus was gonna kill him. He just walks up to Varus range and he dies, right? So we need to, as long as you can prevent yourself from doing that stuff, you're gonna win like every fight in solo queue. Oh my god, what the fuck? He went for the Rift Herald. This is some interesting shit. This Fiora is going in with no items. This is, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Diamond
but-
5 is a special place. It's really fun.
Right. This is super weird, but you can still use your time efficiently, right? See, like you're checking blue and stuff. But what could you have done while you checked the blue?
I don't know. I feel like running top hero is just the best option.
What about these
Like-
trinkets?
Yeah. I guess I could just be warding the jungle.
Right. And this Syndra's here, which I would have mentioned, but I think you're okay because you had flash. But you need a ward so that you know if they're like walking into the river, right? So vision control, I think, is a big one we're seeing here. So talking about what should I be doing out of lane, it's not necessarily it's not like you're making disastrous moves. It's that one time you made a mistake by not using your time efficiently. Another time, or maybe every time we can say we're not using our vision. And then right here, what could we do to use our time efficiently?
I don't know. I feel like backing here is fine because I had enough gold to buy some good stuff.
Right, but you can get another wave for free, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And after you kill someone, right? After you gain an advantage, you need to ask yourself, what's the best thing I can get right now? The best thing you can get right now is another 7 minions instead of backing, right?
Right. Okay.
Or 6 minions, whatever that is. I think that's 6 minions.
I don't think it was cannon wave now.
But right? Notice how we're falling behind in CS, 160 at 23 minutes, right?
Yeah, that's not great. No.
That's kind of the reason. If you ever have you seen? Are you watching All Stars by any chance?
I've seen like half of one game.
Right, I saw like half of one game too. The half I watched was the Korea one versus like I don't remember what team, but Faker had 300 minions at like 25 minutes, right? And if you ever ask yourself, dude, that's actually like impossible. I can't even do that against bots. It's because he's always using his time efficiently, right?
But like at that point, like how much minions does his team get though? Like
they all had like 200 at 20 or something like that.
Really?
Right?
That's crazy.
Right, exactly. It's about using your time efficiently, right? Like right now, your Fiora is trying to go walk into the jungle, except instead of pushing top. Another few minions lost, right? Literally every time that happens, you guys are losing minions. So, oh, this guy is dying to wolves. That's really awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here, this is an option, right? If you guys are super strong, you run in their jungle and you take all their buffs, right? That's exactly the question you asked is, what if there are no objectives on the map? Obviously, there's Baron, but this is the same side of the jungle. So yeah, you walk into their jungle, you find the fight because you're controlling the vision. They have to face check you, and then you guys get free kills like that. That Jin just randomly died, right? You're queuing this guy for free, right? Everything's Gucci. This guy's gonna die, right? Oh, this is awkward. Basically every time you Ian, make sure that you're not gonna die, right?
Yeah,
because you're the 80 carry, right? So if you die, there's a lot less chance you can win this, right? This is actually gonna be 0 because this guy's gonna die first, right? So against poke, this is gonna be poke. You just can't win this, right? Oh my God, where's Jace? This is super weird, but if you're even hit everything and you guys couldn't win that fight, right? So basically, as the AD carry, you need to make sure that whenever you make a play, it's an efficient play too, right? You need to make sure you don't die for Sona, right? Who's worth more, you or Sona?
Right. So even if I couldn't catch Sona by not Eing in, like it was just a mistake to Eing. Like I should have just saved it, even if
with
she lived.
50 health, how useful is she? Somewhat useful,
right? Yeah.
Right?
So she's basically dead. Like
right. But what happened was you traded all of your HP for like 30 of hers, right?
Right, yeah.
So it was like not worth, right?
Okay.
Sure, you can say sometimes it's worth. What if you're super far behind and the Sona was instead an AD carry who was 16 and 0, right? That would 100% worth, right? That'd be a good trade. But in this case, it's not, right? It's not always about kills. It's always like there's always like kind of what's it called? Specifics that go into it too, if that makes any sense, right? In this case, we don't want to push out yet because we're missing people, right? So
right, that's just dumb.
So we don't have. This is when we don't have lane priority and we try and get lane priority. They just engage, right?
Yeah.
So say
that was just dumb.
A good example is Caitlyn tries to push against Ashe, right? So the reason why people say Ashe is a soft counter is because every time Caitlyn's like out in the lane, Ashe can arrow, right? And Caitlyn has to be afraid. So that's why Caitlyn can be considered to not have lane priority a lot of the time, right? And then when would Caitlyn have lane priority over Ashe?
When Ashe's ult is down.
Right. All right. That's a good one. And what else?
Not sure.
QSS, right?
Right.
If Caitlyn buys a QSS, and if she buys a Mercurials, Ashe ults, tries to auto attack, she Mercurials and kills her, right? Boom.
Right.
That's lane priority right there, right? So stuff like basically it's these kinds of fundamentals that are kind of throwing the game, if that makes any sense, right? Because we're kind of losing Baron here for no reason. Maybe you guys might save it, maybe not. But the way to, how you mentioned like, oh, a challenger player would be able to carry, it would be clean, right? It's basically you're doing the right moves a lot of the time, but there are a lot of questionable moves too, right? So you basically need to clean it up. And the way to clean it up is to make sure we know we can like specify these fundamentals and basic options that we know and make sure that we're sticking to them unless something really good comes up, right? So it looks like they're not Baroning, so it's okay to go bot. I mean, they could be on Baron, honestly, but since they have a Jhin, I would say unlikely, right?
Yeah, I think they backed off and went B. I think I saw some go B, so I figured
right. I agree here, right? The reason why we know they can't Baron is because, oh wow, this does not work, right? This doesn't work because he does not have the items to do it, right? So one of the reasons why we know they can't Baron is because Sona, Syndra, Ezreal, and their jungle Xin cannot do Baron extremely fast, right? So you have enough time to check, which is your brand, right? If they had Jace, they might be able to do Baron really quick, but yeah, that's how we know. Okay, everyone pings Baron. Sure. This is good. We're still missing pink wards, right? So that's actually another big thing is you need to make sure you're buying wards because wards win games, right?
Right.
If you ever check the stats of Samsung Galaxy versus SKT, Samsung Galaxy bought a shit ton more wards than SKT, and it was like a 3-0 stomp, right? I'm not saying that's the only reason why they won, but it was a big part of the reason why they won, right?
Okay, cool.
So if you like, the reason why you guys can't Baron is because you have no wards, right? Like if you, let's say for example you start Baron and they can see everyone on the map. What happens is that they can pick when to Syndra stun and Sona ultimate, right? And that's like super scary for you guys because you're tanking Baron. And Jace can even poke and he can see who he's poking, right? So he says, oh, I want to aim Brand, and then we're gonna have Syndra aim Brand at the same time. So then your Brand is gonna die or something like that, right? Versus if everything is pinked, they are walking into no vision. So every time they take a step, they have to be afraid of Trundle Pillar, right? There's a big difference in the stuff they have to be afraid of, right? The engage they have to be afraid of.
Right. Okay.
Right here, I think Fiora should be bought, right? You guys will be losing minions, but that's not really your fault. She needs the back right now. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, you guys need to clear this. Is there anything dangerous with what you're doing?
Well, we don't have any vision over anyone, so like they could just like swarm us if they really wanted to. But
what is the so when you say swarm, you mean like engage, right?
yeah, like
they can engage
from like the fog of war from like my northeast or northwest. Sorry.
So what's the worst case scenario? We saw Xin over here, so that's okay, right? So it's not gonna be Xin. But what's the worst case scenario?
Jace EQs and then Syndra just like comes out of nowhere and then stuns me and then Sona flash ult.
Right, Sona is sitting right here, flash ulti.
Yeah.
And then Syndra flash stun. Oh my god, everyone's dead, right?
Right.
So when you're getting lane priority like this, when you're getting lane control, you need to make sure you know what their engage is, right? Before you do that, so that you have counterplay. So what would be the counterplay? Sona's gonna flash ulti. What are you gonna do?
Flash away, but I don't know if I can react in time to that.
Right. So then what if you say you can't react to it in time? Then what do you do?
Just play safer.
Right, stay out of range. You can clear from this side. Say this is warded, this side is warded, so you know they can't flash over because there's no one there. They can only flash over this wall. Boom! They can't do that because you're clearing from this side of the lane, right? It's the same idea as you're playing mid lane and you see the jungler come on one side, so you hug the other side of the lane, right? You have a ward on this side of the lane, so you know to hug this side, right? I don't know if you ever played mid, but that's a common strategy.
I've played like a good 3 times in my career.
Right, played a few autofill games, right? But yeah, that's kind of how it works, right? And then if you have no, okay, so now he wards, but she could have been sitting there already, unless you guys already saw her. But another way to do it is to check with your abilities, right? You can spam your Q and see if they're sitting there or not. But that's not foolproof, right? Because they can just walk back into there. They can leave. Oh yeah, so you guys are just getting engaged on. You have no answer, so that's kind of the issue with trying to get lane priority when you don't know what their engage is, right? So what's like, the answer here?
What could have I done differently there, though? Like, I don't know, like what I could have done to like prevent that,
So if you know these things, right? Right here, you ping Baron, you put a word down, you guys sit in a bush, boom, right?
Okay.
That would be an option. But since we don't know like what our options are, we can't tell our team what to do, right? Everyone's just sitting mid, right? And then it's like, oh, what we sit mid to what extent, right? Maybe it's like, oh, we can get Fiora, we can buy some time for Fiora, I don't know, right? Maybe you guys can rotate through the jungle, we got no vision, right? Maybe we can siege, their engage is too strong, right? Your Trundle like left or whatever, I don't know what's going on, but this guy also missed his ult, so like that's not your fault, but you can increase the chances. You can like do the heavy lifting for your team, if that makes any sense, right? This is kind of Brand's job, right? What is he doing? I don't know where his pink is, but if it's on red, that's not good. If it's nowhere, that's not good. He has one word out, if that, right? I don't know, right? So you basically try and do as much as you can by yourself, right?
Okay.
So you need to get pinks, basically. So yeah. So here, instead of right here, when you guys push in a wave, right? What were your options?
Well, we could have started getting control over Baron, I guess. Yeah.
Right. So there's always a question: can you engage on them when they're clearing?
Not really. No.
I agree. You can't really engage, right? You need a Varus flash ult, and then Jace TPs, you lose. And then second, you can poke. Can you poke? That's okay. But if you can't stop their engage, you can't poke, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then third is, run into their jungle, ward shit. Like we already talked about that, right? Go run in their ward, rotate. You can rotate to Jace if he fights Fiora, right? You have those options available. So pick something of those options. You need to pick something. And then always try and pick the best one, right? So here, what is this option? We're trying to poke, right?
Yeah,
but then
it's not really...
yeah, we didn't know that their engage was. We didn't really know how strong their engage was. So someone fucking died immediately. Yeah, that's kind of awkward. Also, Trundle like left, right? So this is like doubly awkward. No one knows what's going on here.
Yeah, it's like we only have 3 people here. We don't know where the rest of the team is. Like, just
Right,
no
right,
good,
right.
no good.
Right. So he's gonna die. Wait, this is actually a spooky ghost here by Sona, right? Oh my god, that's kind of lit. That was their engage. Their engage was Frost Queen's claim, right? So you don't even have an answer to Frost Queen's claim. So we can't. Yeah, we definitely don't want to walk out here, right? So yeah, they're gonna try. Now, what are they gonna do? They're gonna push mid. Oh, they're gonna engage, right? That doesn't work. Okay, that works.
Oh yeah,
now.
I'm a goner.
Oh, that's fucking
Alright,
awkward.
am I? Yeah.
You're dead. Right. So if they force an engage like this, you need to know what your reaction is too, right? Which is just E immediately, right? So yeah, that's kind of awkward. But so this is okay. We can go through this too in terms of what to do, right? What do we do if our team is stupid and we lose someone? This is gonna happen every game, right? What happens if we lose someone for no reason? What are they gonna do? They're gonna push mid. So what do you do?
Just try to hold it, I guess.
Right, you wave clear as fast as possible, right? And then if they try and do an objective, you can poke them off it, right? But you need wards, right? What else can you do? You can try and pick someone, but that's kind of desperate. That's like gonna happen 1 times out of 10. But most cases, it's gonna be ward and wave clear, right? So what are we doing here? That's neither.
We're poking. That's just not good.
But if you are super strong, like you are in this case, and you have an answer to their engage, say you're gonna E this Xin dash, you can do this, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then because you can, if they engage too hard, right? If they force this too hard, you can win a 3v5. It's possible, right? If they have a super poor engage and you have the items. But in this case, we didn't, I guess, react in time.
Yeah, I
or
didn't flash
their Jhin was super strong. I don't know. But even wasting your flash here was not good, right? We couldn't. We shouldn't try and waste a flash. So
yeah,
in this case, we know. Yeah, in this case, now we know that against Jhin, we should be very wary of his W, right? Because that's going to be an engage by itself.
For sure, yeah.
And then it's just like nothing you can do. You got to run up too late because they're super fast by Sona. And then this is going to be a Baron, right? So it's like kind of awkward. Oh my god, what is he doing? Just get Baron. Oh, he's going to die. Yeah, they don't have a jungler now. So this... oh god. Oh god. Right. So like once they killed you... right here. If they went to Baron right now, you guys couldn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of... once you get an advantage, which is killing the AD carry, what's the best thing they can do? The best thing is go Baron, right?
What about them taking the first, like the T2 tower there and then go Baron? Would that work too? Like they are right now. Like let's say Jhin didn't do that like int, and he just took the tower.
It is possible, but we can think of these answers ourselves, right? Okay, so what are things that can go wrong if they try and hit the tower?
Well, we can't really protect it. We don't have a good wave clear, right? And without me, like we can't really fight them. So I don't know what could go wrong for them.
Well, can't Varus poke them off, right? Can't Varus wave clear as well? And then on top of that, they're losing time to Fiora, right? By taking this tower, they're giving more time for Fiora, which is not good, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then on top of that, Brand is spawning. So you never want to... if you can take Baron... okay, so if you can start Baron and take a tower... but it gives them 1 extra person versus do Baron and they're missing a person, I would rather take the Baron, right? Instead of getting that extra tower. You're going to get that tower anyways if you get the Baron.
That's true. Yeah, okay.
Unless this is 0 risk, which is definitely not 0 risk, I would not do what they're doing, right? Because we're getting to the point where Fiora can solo Jace. So they sent Jace to stop her, but that fight is going to be one-sided once Fiora starts hitting more items, right? Unless Fiora makes a mistake, and then mechanical mistake, right? And then it's like, oh, that's awkward. But they're basically not using their time efficiently, right? I think like what you mentioned is an option, right? But then we ask ourselves, how good is that option, right? So this Fiora is trying to do some crazy shit. Wasn't very good, right? Oh, we're gonna go for a snipe here. This is good. Oh, and then you see Jhin open up. Oh, that's awkward. But
that was so sad. I wanted to kill myself.
Right. So all these kind of mistakes we're seeing are basically everyone not really knowing what the best options are, right? Like Fiora, what does Fiora want to do? She wants to scale, right? She wants to split push. So what did she try and do? She tried to rotate mid and engage in a fight where you guys were missing people and not even close by, right? And she didn't have her items. She didn't buy. So what was her problem? She was boosted. So that's kind of how we can figure out what we need to be doing outside of lane. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
So this fucking why right here, 30 minutes into the game, you guys are doing exactly what you should have done like 20 minutes into the game, right? You guys are doing it. This is exactly what, like, 4 people, this is perfect scenario. Right? Everyone's fucking running in at the same time, and then you can defend if they try and stop you, right? You can engage on them with Trundle Pillar. This is exactly what we need. And then all we needed to do it was early. Like, this, you're gonna find this guy. He can't get away. Oh, that Trundle Pillar was super awkward. All right. Imagine if the Trundle Pillar is right here, right? You gotta pick.
Yeah.
And then you can do Baron, right? That's exactly, this is how you win games, right? You tell your team this is what we want to do, right? Or at the very least, you provide vision, so it's easy for them to do it, right? So you guys chase that, it's not good, right? You gotta run. You're missing a Fura. He ulted, that's kind of awkward, but whatever. He ulted too, it's pretty bad. But, right, as long as we can provide the vision, your team will not be afraid to walk in, right? Like, you can't clear this, so what do? This bush is dunzo, right? you can't do anything. And then maybe you want a blue trinket too, so you can check Baron. If they're doing the same thing and you're losing, blue trinket will stall you the game, right? Because you can blue trinket to see if they're doing it.
Do I like objectively get blue trinket every game, like no exceptions?
I think that there are times when keeping yellow is better, but those are a lot more rare. So at this point, we should just worry at getting our vision out in the first place, right? So if you don't buy blue trinket, that's okay, but make sure you're putting these words down where they're useful, right? That's actually really awkward. Fiora's getting collapsed on, even though there were wards in the river, right? I don't know, she fucking saw everyone coming in. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, she tried to fight this guy. She should have just tried to fight Xin, and it should be out scot-free, or you guys would have gotten there in time. But yeah, now same thing. You need a push mid here, right? What happened when someone died? You need a wave clear and poke them off objectives, or unless you can't stop the objective, you just give it up, right? Sometimes they're too strong. Like, what if they had a 6-item Twitch and you guys walk out 4v5? You're gonna lose, right?
Yeah,
so
we're
it's
done,
kind of a judgment decision on when you think you can stop them or not, right? Okay, so they're gonna try and fuck with you instead of doing Baron. That could have been really dangerous too. Okay, going for a different option here, right? And you say QSS is the answer. That's okay, right? You were looking for an opportunity, and it made it so that they were pressured to not do Baron, right? So that's fine, right?
Yeah.
That's fine by me. Oh, they're doing it anyways, but now they don't have Sona ult, so now it's a lot better, right? So now it's possible to win this fight. You can just ult the back line, which is really good. Oh, baby, here we go. Okay, one thing
I didn't want to
note.
E over the wall. I tried to get close to Sona to try to just kill her with 1 Q,
Oh,
but...
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, I guess. Make sure that okay, that's fine. Yeah, if you try to E over the wall, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy.
No, don't worry, I'm not that bad.
So remember, okay, I think the thing to keep in mind is, what is the goal here?
Pretty much just get him off of Baron, right?
Right. So if they get off Baron and you guys chase, that's bad, right?
Right. Yeah.
Unless it's 100%, right? So anything that's not a basic option, right? We'll call this a basic option, right? So stopping the Baron is your basic option. Pushing mid and warding river is a basic option. If you do anything like engaging on them because they're close when you're trying to wave clear mid, trying to get lane priority mid and they're super close by and you can one shot them, you go for it. That's an alternative option, right? Killing them after they try to attempt Baron instead of stop the chase is an alternative option, right? So these alternative options are only possible if you see that they're guaranteed for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, these options are guaranteed. So you guys stop the Baron. Sure. They're still okay. Once he's dead, the Baron is stopped. Everyone needs to run. So if you stay and fight, which is what we're doing it better work 100%, right? And sure, it's kind of hard to say because it's in the moment, right? Things are happening super fast.
Right.
So
Yeah.
then you say, if we can kill Zen, we stop Baron. Then we get out, right? If you have that mindset in the first place, you can make that decision super fast. Once he gets to a certain amount of HP, you can E over the wall and you can get out, or when Jin ults or something like that. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
This is sure, you can say this is super unfortunate because they're low HP, but if you ask a challenger player what they would do, they would not E in, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because they would say, I am not sure I can get that 100%, right? I see this, I'm like, this is juicy, but I'm not 100% sure I can kill them all immediately, right? You even landed everything almost, and you couldn't. It wasn't that close, right? Sona heal was insane.
Yeah.
And sure, it's unexpected, but everything you do should be guaranteed, basically, and that's why the basic options are so strong. Is because the enemy cannot stop you. Almost no counterplay. to your basic options. It's whenever you do something that's not normal and it doesn't work is kind of where people are getting these free picks. Like for example, look at this Fiora. What can Fiora do? That's not just running here, right?
God.
Right. That's like
Look. Oh my God.
that is an option, but what else could she have done? Maybe she could have been splitting and then TPing or something. I don't know. She could have been using her time better. She knew they couldn't Baron anymore, right? So she shouldn't have TP'd in, right? And then if she got all this farm, got another wave, 3 items, 4 items. So she took an alternative option. And it wasn't guaranteed, right? It's kind of unlucky because Jace was here, and it would have worked if Jace wasn't here. But if she checked the map, she should have known that Jace was missing. So it's kind of the issue we're finding, right? Is whenever we take an option that's not standard, it's usually a throw in solo queue, right? How many options have we seen fail? Like everyone has made a mistake already, right? So yeah, they're just gonna push mid because they can do whatever they want since you're dead. If you hadn't died, it's possible that you can poke them off it, right? Basically, we need to make sure that we don't make any subpar choices, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a disaster in what you're choosing. It's that we need to make sure that you know you can identify what your options are, and then you can pick which one you like best, right? And make sure you buy wards, right? Those are the 2 big things, right? Your laning was your laning was perfect. Yeah, 100 farm in 10 minutes. You were like 2-0. You took the tower. You rotated mid, and then we jumped into their jungle, right? And then so you got the first 10 minutes of the game basically perfect, right? From what I can see. It's the stuff after is we need to make sure what we're doing, right? So here, how do we know this fight doesn't work?
Well, isn't it? It's like 3-5, right? Like there's no way we kill them.
Right. So definitely don't want to fight this. I don't know what's going on, but sure you can poke, but you want to know that unless it's free. You want to be super safe here, right? Unless this is free. So if she can ult you right now, that's super awkward, right?
Yeah, but I have QSS though, right?
Oh, that's true.
I think I kill her. I don't remember.
And then there's like a Syndra here. Okay, yeah. But the thing is, it's still 5v3, right? So this is gonna be super scary. Chundo died. It's as long as you buy time for Fiora, it could be okay, maybe. But yeah, as long as you keep those things in mind, right? And you know it's gonna work, right? So even though it was like it looked really good, you killed Sona for free, it's getting kind of dangerous, right? Look at this. It's getting really dangerous, right? 10 HP. It could have gone either way. That's like we call this luck, right? Because we didn't know what the outcome was. And then if I talk to you, if I pause this in game and I said, what were you trying to do here? You wouldn't be able to tell me, right? It was just fighting. And then the correct answer is you're trying to buy time for Fiora to split push, right? So you need to make sure what you want, right? That will stop you from making crazy moves. That'll maybe potentially throw the game, right? You need to make sure you know what you're trying to get out of these fights or these rotations or these roams or pushing the wave. What are you trying to get after you push the wave, right? You need to be able to verbalize it, right? So yeah, this is gonna be awkward because they're just doing Baron now.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that.
All right, you guys lost too much HP. Fiora stopped pushing. I don't know what happened, but we took a random fight that was meant to stall, but it kind of devolved into a fight, a crazy. I don't even know. And now we're kind of stuck in this situation where they have Baron and hip down. They can just push, right? So at this point, I think you guys still can win, right? If you can utilize your Fiora, 6-item Fiora. Oh, okay, you can engage top, right? How do we know we can engage top?
We just saw someone bot, so.
And you saw someone mid, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure. So.
Having man advantage is a very good indicator of when you can fight, right? Okay, so everyone's going, right? This is good. Run. Don't let them base. No. Okay, perfect, right? We're going to stall Baron with this, right? Make sure that we don't face tank, Syndra, ultimate, and we're good to go. All right, that was close, but the right idea, right? It was the right idea.
Yeah.
And then their team is coming, so you got to make sure you know where their team is. You just ult this guy, and you're good to go, right? Oh, this is awkward. All right, maybe not. It's kind of awkward. Wait, hold on. Let's watch what happened here.
I was kind of low, so like I felt like I watched them go towards Jin. Like I felt like if I tried to go in there, he would just like auto me once or twice and I'm dead. So I started to go back out.
So remember how the reason why we pick Ezreal is so we Q until we can go in and we E in, right? That's an option. So you got to make sure you land the Qs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So how do we know? Okay, so in lane we said we know we want to use abilities when they want minions, right?
Right.
Okay, so when do we know when we want to use abilities now? There are no more minions they want to hit.
I don't know.
there are a few ways to capitalize on what they want, right? One, they want to auto attack. When you see Jin auto attack, that's he winds up his animation, you can Q, right? Another, he's running away in a straight line, and if he ever deviates from his path, he's gonna die. A Syndra's chasing him, he cannot change path. You can Q him because he can only run in a straight line, right? 3, you're on top of him, he cannot dodge, right? Or you're auto attacking him, and he feels super, what's it called? He feels super pressured, and it's hard for him to do anything. And then you Q him when he auto attacks, right? And then the last one is you follow up on CC, right? That's the obvious one, which is when Varus ults, you can Q him, ult him, whatever. It doesn't matter because he's gonna land, right? So these are the kind of areas you want to target. So what could you have done here instead of using the Q?
Well, I could have ulted him, I guess. Like
Right. That's what I was saying. Was ult him, and it'll force him to make a decision, right? And then based on what he does, you can change your plan, right? So if you ult him from like here, and then he says he walks down, you can E, auto attack, Blade the Ring, can Q because he can't move, right? So that would be a way to limit where he can go, right? But honestly, this is much less important than the other stuff we talked about, right? It's good to know this kind of stuff, but you can always practice that. That's like a mechanics thing, right? It's the kind of all the other mistakes up to this point, right? There's really not much you could do in that team fight. That was as much as you could get, right? It was the stuff leading up to this point that we can fix first.
Yeah, so like let's say like even if I did kill Jin there, like somehow like I hit my ultimate, then my Q, then I Blade the Rune King him, and like he's dead. Like we still lose that fight, right? Like
right, you're probably still gonna lose that fight, but the difference is that they have less pushing power, so they may not be able to end the game, for example.
Okay.
But you know, it's gonna make a difference in some games, right?
For sure.
Some games it's not gonna make a difference, but
yeah, so that was just like a mechanical thing.
Right. So you don't really worry about that kind of stuff. We just want to worry about the what should we do at any given time, right? I think your mechanics are fine, right? We don't need to worry about your mechanics thus far, right? Thus far, we don't need to worry about it. It's the like you said, right? What should we do out of lane? So to kind of recap, after you push a lane, what are your options?
Well, after we push a lane, we can go into the enemy jungle and start warding, or we can start getting we can start going towards objectives that are up, like for example top lane, like top tower, like another outer turret, or we can go for like Rift Herald or Dragon or whatever.
All right, perfect. And then what about your options near the tower, near the enemy tower? What can you do?
We can either poke them or just hit the tower, I guess.
Right, tower pressure or poke, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What's a uncommon solo queue option that is very viable and competitive?
Was that just like go into the enemy jungle and ward?
No. Near the tower.
What was it? I don't know. I forgot.
You can dive, right? We didn't talk about this, but if you get them low enough, your Trundle can walk in and put a pillar behind them and they're dead, right?
Right, yeah.
If they're like 50 HP or something. Diving is an option, but we don't really recommend that unless it's like super free, right? In solo queue, we kind of consider that as like alternative instead of like a standard option. And then what was the last? Well, there's one more that we can do, which is what your brand did.
Under tower.
After you push. In lane, he did it.
I don't know.
And he got Sona's flash.
Oh yeah, just cheese them, like stand in the bush.
Right, sit in a bush, because you know they're gonna walk out for the minions, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So that is also a standard option in solo queue. And less so in competitive because they know what's up. But
yeah, they got it going on.
Right. So we have kind of a lot of options, right? Now the question becomes, which one should we pick, right? So against the hard engaged team, what options are worse?
Probably poke, honestly, because then they could can't they just answer with like can't they, if they get far up enough, like they can just jump on us, right?
Exactly, right? So now you know that hitting the tower is not recommended against a hard engaged team, right? They're just gonna Malphite ult you. They're gonna Malphite TP behind you and ult, right? So what's an alternative? Oh, maybe going into their jungle and getting vision is better, right? Because if he ults without vision, he might make a mistake, for example. Right. Or you can poke him down as he's trying to walk in, and then give him a subpar target like a tank to ult, and then you guys are good to go.
Right. Okay.
How about against sustain? What's a no, not the best option.
Against a Vayne?
Sustain.
Oh, okay. Poking.
Right, sieging and poking is not as good, right? So this Varus versus Sona is a good example, right? It could be Soraka or whatever, Nami, whatever. If the poke is not strong enough, you guys are wasting time by poking because they're just gonna heal it up, right? So then you guys want to do something else, for example, right? What if they had no sustain? This is if you ever watched competitive recently, this is a very common one. No sustain against poke. You saw NA versus what was it, like Brazil or something, and then they just Zoe Varus Q, and then it was over. It was over. There's nothing you can do, right? So they had no sustain. Their engage wasn't strong enough. They just queued and they won, right? So as long as you basically league's about setting yourself up. It's not about who has the best mechanics, right? Have you heard that like a lot? I think everyone says that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's about who can put themselves in a situation where they can't lose.
Right. Okay.
So if we can do that ourselves, you basically will have like an insane win rate, right? Make sure like as long as you make sure your options are clean, then you're just gonna be able to capitalize on their mistakes, right? Whatever rank you're at, doesn't matter what rank. These kind of fundamental issues happen in every rank, right? They just get more intricate and specific, right? So at this point in the game, say in Bronze 5, all you have to say is don't fight 4v5, and then that will be good enough, right? And then when you get to Challenger, you'll say don't fight until we scale, right? We need to scale first, right? That would be more advanced, for example. But it's all the same, right? It's all the same. Finding out when we want to fight, figuring out what our options are, right? And then making sure that if we ever do something that's not included in those options, it's 100% free, right? So Zin did something that was not. This is possible. This is very possible, right? Sneaking an objective when the enemy team is pushing mid, right? We've seen it with Nunu on Dragon. We've seen it with like Cassiopeia on Baron, right? 20-minute Baron. The only issue is
Cassiopeia on Baron.
On Baron, right? That was a thing when Cassiopeia was super strong with who is it? There was like another champion. They do Baron super fast. I don't know.
What season was this?
It was like a few years ago or something. But basically, I mean, even if they pick Cassiopeia now, right? That you should know that that's an option, right? That is an option they can take. They can do it super fast. You need to make sure that if you do something like that, you have to make it as clean as possible. So how do you make it as clean as possible? Oh, if you want to solo dragon, like in solo queue nowadays, you got to put a pink on it, or you got to sweep it, right? And then if you want to sneak Baron, make sure that they're basing, stuff like that, right? If you want to do an alternative play, it needs to be, you need to make it like as clean as possible. It has to work. Basically, if it doesn't work, it's like an insane throw, right? This is an insane throw. You gave a Rift Herald, pushing mid without watching their engage and taking like going for a poke option that wasn't really an option against Sona. Insane throw, right? They got Baron, right? Or they could have gotten Baron, for example, right? So make sure that we're making these choices that can only work, right? This is super awkward. He walked without vision, but he was just trying to get to the mid lane, but he had no vision, right? That is just unfortunate. But you should have known that you guys had no vision. But yeah, make sure that you know the basic options, right? So the best way to think about this is once you push, right? Say you win lane, right? So you're always gonna be able to push, right? Ask yourself, what is my best option? What is the most I can get, right? And then remember the options we talked about today. Tower damage, poke under tower, camp a bush, rotate to a different lane, rotate into their jungle, right? Rotating into a different lane can be the same as rotating into the river, but we'll say that, and then rotate into their jungle, right? These are options, and then back on top of that is your other option. So out of these options, which one is the best, right? Ask yourself that. And then unless something insane comes up, like you see Syndra backing with 50 HP, and then you say, oh, I'm going to E into her because she has no flash. That's okay. As long as you make sure it works, right? That's okay. And then if you're losing, which I think is more rare for you because you look like you stomped the lane, but if you're losing, you wave clear, right? And then until you can find an option that works, right? So what's an option that would work? See this bush over here? That's pink. I'm not sure if you can see the mini map. But
yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
the one next to Wraith Bush, that's super common, right? The support walks in there, tries to ward it, gets blown up, right? So if you're on the defending side, you can do something like that, right? Okay. It's perfect example. You and Brand pushed in. Brand went to ward the tri bush. We talked about how dangerous that was, right?
Yeah,
that's a perfect example, right? You guys can set up a trap in there with a pink word, right? And then on top of that, that'll be like most of it for your decision making, right? Make sure you know what your options are, right? And then on top of that, you need to buy pinks to make sure that those options are available, right?
Okay.
Don't worry about your mechanics or anything like that. I think those are okay, right? And then team fighting decisions, I think is like secondary under making those situations happen in the first place, right?
Right.
Sure, we could have team fought better or whatever, but I think the bigger issue was making sure that we wanted to pick the decision that was best for us, right? Um, and I think that'll help you the most, right? And the way we kind of improve on this is make sure that you ask yourself what you want, like every second of the game, right? Every second of the game, you say, "Oh, what do I want next?" Right? After I push this wave, what do I want next? Or while I'm pushing this wave, can they engage on me? Right? Those are like the kind of big questions. We didn't really see you guys get caught by. Okay, we did get caught by engage a few times, but it was kind of 4v5 where we're following our team, right? We can prevent those situations by making sure what we want in the first place. So first is like make sure you know what you want, right? Make sure that you know what option you want, and you like say it aloud or whatever. I don't know. I do that sometimes. I'm like, oh, I want to go ward the river. Sometimes I forget, right? So I'm like, oh, I want to go ward the river. And then I say, oh, can they stop me, right? So I press tab and I see Leona. I'm like, all right, they can stop me. So how do I stop them from stopping me, right? And it goes on like that. So your answer was QSS, for example. You eat into Sona, you did a shit ton of damage. She ulted you, you QSS. Perfect. That's fine, right? That would be an example, right? So we know you can do it.
Right.
Now we just need to polish it, right? Make sure there's zero mistakes, and then we'll be good to go, right? So this is good, except that she did ult in time, so that was kind of awkward.
No, that was calculated. I knew exactly what was going on.
Right on, right, like the pixel to the right of her to make sure she can't ult. Dude, perfect, dude, perfect. But yeah, make sure that an alternative play like that cannot go wrong, right? So what do you need to make sure this doesn't go wrong?
Insane mechanics.
Yeah, you need flash or QSS, right? To guarantee this. Or she needs to be at such low HP, you can say she can't react to a Q that kills her, right?
Right.
So
okay.
She should have. She actually reacted really quick, so that was kind of spooky. But yeah, make sure that anything that isn't what we talked about is gonna work like 100% of the time.
Okay.
And then once you can like focus on that, once you can do that every game, I think you will see like a lot of improvement, right? Because that's like you were right? That's like your kind of main mistake, right? I think next would be like maybe team fighting and stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
But we don't worry about that yet, right? We don't want to.
Okay.
We don't need to worry about that yet. Your laning is perfectly fine, right?
So just like
don't worry
macro
about that
play,
yet.
I guess.
Right. Make sure that you know what you're trying to do at any given time, and also make sure at the same time if you have a dead teammate, right? If it's a 4v5, your options are limited, right? Say you can push it out, but your top laner is dead. You don't go where the river because they TP on you, right? You make sure that you play safe until your teammate's alive, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Is there an example in this game? I'm not really sure, but that's like a pitfall, right? Is whenever we're focusing too much on ourselves and a teammate dies and we try and do the same thing, it's not the same situation anymore, right? Because the teammate is dead, right? Or your teammate's 0-10 top, right? And you try and ward the river, and then they TP, and your team TPs, but your team's 0-10, so he's useless. You know that's not gonna work, right? So
Of course,
make
yeah.
sure that these basic options apply when it's like 5v5, right? That's kind of awkward, but vision like that, stuff like that, free picks like that will happen because you have vision. So for your like next however many games until you can get it perfectly, make sure that you know what your options are, right? Figure out what your options are and then pick the best one for based on whatever reasoning you can figure out. And then the second is make sure you're buying pink words, right? So sometimes if I say like if I have this option and I have like it's not a biscuit or something and I could buy a pickaxe, I'll buy pink words instead, right? That's how important it is, right? A pickaxe can help you fight, but a pink word will give you a fight you can't lose, right?
Okay, yeah,
so
that's true.
you need to set up basically vision is just so important in this game, right? How often have you seen like how often have you been super fed and then you like face check and you die immediately, right? Being fed doesn't mean you're tankier, it just means you do more damage. So we need to make sure we don't get caught by that stuff, right? So if you see the enemy Katarina is 20-0, if she face checks a bush, she's gonna die at the same amount of speed unless she has Zanyas, right? So yeah, that's what I would say is focus on your options, your basic options, and making sure you're buying your pink words, right? And that will be most of what I saw. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like honestly, like I try to buy pink boards, but I just forget. I think I'm just gonna make a like you know how you can do the custom builds. I'm just gonna make a custom build and put like 5 pink words.
That would be a good reminder. That would be a good reminder. One thing I do is I buy one every base, right? Because once you get to the habit of buying pink wards,
Yeah.
you get to the point where it's, oh, I have a pink ward on the bottom side of the map, but Baron is up, so I need to rebuy my pink ward and move it, right? It feels bad because you're spending money again, but in reality, that's not like how it works, right? Your pink ward's doing nothing.
For sure. Yeah.
On the other side of the map, so yeah,
Okay.
I would say maybe start in the habit of buying one every back, and that'll
Yeah,
help a lot.
eventually it'll just
Um,
yeah. Okay.
The exceptions could be like, oh, if you could complete a Trinity Force versus a pink ward, maybe the Trinity Force would be better, right? But it has to be something insanely big, right?
Okay. Yeah. True.
So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Also, like in this game, like there isn't like a specific situation where like it was like, oh, like now the game's over. It was kind of just like the accumulation of like all these little mistakes, basically.
Yes, exactly. Even if they get Baron, the game is not over, right? Okay, so here's a perfect example. How many times have you seen SKT like lose Baron, lose 3 inhibs, and then they win the game, right? This game's
Yeah,
never
that's
over.
true.
You can always find a way, right? It's just the game becomes tipped very heavily in one way or another, right? It's very hard to win from 0 inhibs down, right? 3 inhibs down. And you see that the win percentage in solo queue is like 10% or something, right? But what happened to that 10%? It was possible, right?
For sure.
Zero, like non-zero means it's possible. So, but definitely it's like you said about the little things, right? There's no real one specific instance, right? Sure, you can say, oh, this one team fight went bad because this guy got caught and then they did Baron. But what happened to the other like 10 deaths earlier from your whole team, right? Maybe you guys could have put yourself in a position where you guys kind of got caught but turned it around because you're so strong, right? There's always something you can do. So you're right in saying that it's basically the accumulation of a lot of things that influence the outcome more so than any one play, right? Like we saw, you destroyed lane, but then we ended up losing somehow, right? So it's not necessarily one thing. Ever,
Right. Okay. So if I did like all these things right, like I was warding, like I made like the smart decision. I used my time effectively. Like I didn't int in like the jungle. Like we would have won the game basically, or like it would have been like a greater chance. Like
At this rank, I would say you could have won, right?
Okay.
That's why a lot of smurfing players play Ezreal, right? Because he's super mobile and he's like super independent of his team.
for sure. Yeah.
And the reason being is because when you don't do those mistakes and you ping your team or whatever to stop doing that stuff, or you provide them vision so it's easy for them to not make those mistakes, what's going to happen is that the enemy is always going to do that shit, right? Because they're at a lower skill level than you, right? That's what we're trying to do, is raise our skill level to the point where we can consistently win games at whatever rank we're at, right?
Right. Okay.
Like how many we saw the Xin try and do Rift Herald, right? He just fucking died, dude. Rift Herald is worth a tower. You could have broken mid, right?
Yeah.
How do you break mid tower against Syndra? Usually we have to poke them and then catch her out. No, we just use the Rift Herald now. It's so easy, right? Or say Trundle could have ganked top for Fiora and then they use the Rift Herald there and take the inhibitor tower. That's insane, right? That's a huge advantage. So look at this shit, right? Syndra's getting caught, but then you make the reverse, the reverse catch, right? So it's these kinds of things. Like if you don't make these mistakes, the enemy will in solo queue 100% of the time, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The only time when you don't see it happen is in like competitive play, and even then there are mistakes like that, right? When you get to the competitive level, it's like now it's about like crazy map rotations and stuff, right? It gets more specific. But in solo queue, even in challenger level, this shit applies, right? It doesn't matter what rank you're at. It's always gonna apply, right? This is the stuff I see in my games. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Right. Any questions, by the way? Anything you want to review before we call it a day?
No, I think that's it.
Nice. Yeah, let me know how things go. Because it seemed like your Ezreal mechanics are really good. You were just like all over these kids, right? Just make sure you don't put yourself in a situation where it's not possible to win, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's like no mechanics could have gotten you out of any of the situations we've seen, right?
Alright,
No amount of mechanics, right? So it's like make sure that you put yourself in the best position possible, right? And if you ever have any questions, right, any 30-second clips, whatever, feel free to message me on Discord. I'm always on.
For sure. All right. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be climbing anytime soon because I'm gaining like 14 LP a win and losing like 23. So
It's fine. It's less about climbing and more about improving.
Yeah.
Right. Have you heard that? I mean, it's very cliche now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it makes
for
a lot of
sure.
sense.
Everyone says that, yeah. I've
Right,
heard it many
Everyone
times.
says it. So maybe sometimes we don't believe it ourselves, but honestly, that is the way to play the game, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
once you've once you've figured this portion of the game out, you can maybe say, oh, now I need to work on mechanics or whatever's holding you back next, right?
Right, okay, for sure.
And the best way to do that is like watch your replays, right? Or I guess another coaching session, or watch any of my coaching session videos on YouTube, right? I think there are a lot of people with a lot of different issues, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Like your titles are always like the main issues.
yeah, I always try and like put it as basic as possible so people know what they're looking for. But
Right, okay.
so any of those will help you out. But yeah, this is the first thing I would say I would work on if I were you. So yeah, let me know how things go.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right. Oh, do you mind if I upload this to YouTube? I'll send you the link and everything.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Alrighty, cool. But yeah, good luck in your games, dude. Good luck in your finals, dude.
Oh,
Finals,
thanks, man.
finals first, and then it's like winter vacation, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah, dude, I
that'll be
almost
lit.
got a month.
Oh 20
20
yes.
games a league a day.
Oh yes, yeah, dude. Good luck on all those things. So
Alright, thanks, man.
have a good one.
You too.